Hi friends, sorry, I don't know if you caught on the first one, I had some issues. So anyway, here I go again. So today I want to talk about grief after miscarriage, shifting through the emotions. And this is an important topic because a lot of times if you're experiencing the grief after a miscarriage, sometimes we don't understand those emotions. One day we're really unhappy and sad. Another day we might experience anger. Another day we might experience bitterness, shame, and then one day we're fine. You know, we're okay. We feel like we're moving forward. And then a day or two later, we're right back to feeling sad again. And so this is an important thing to remember, that it's going to happen. There are going to be good days and bad days, and that's with any grief. Any grief that we go through, whether it be a friend or just any kind of loved one, there are days where we have good and bad days, and that is a part of moving forward in grief. When it becomes an issue of depression and an issue of maybe needing a little bit more, help with that, is when we're not moving forward at all in our grief, when we're stuck in the rut of sadness, when we're stuck in the rut of shame, when we're stuck in the rut of just complete, just the yuckies is what I call them. When we don't have any days of goodness, of hope, then that's the time to maybe seek some help. And that's important for us to be mindful of that. So if you're going through this and you've been just experiencing nothing but complete sadness and anger for days and days and days, it's time to get some help. It's time to reach out to somebody. It's time to start praying. It's time to just start seeking a better way to get through this grief, because it is a very, very serious loss, and it's definitely okay and natural for us to feel sad and to just have those moments and days of complete sadness. I mean, it's going to happen again with any grief, but especially that of a pregnancy, because we're not only losing our physical a baby, but we are also losing that dream, and I would say a lot of it is just losing that that idea and that thought and those hopes and everything that comes along with pregnancy and planning for a family. And so it's important for us to really be mindful of those moments when we're not moving forward in our grief, because that's the dangerous time, that's the dangerous moment, and we just need to make sure that we're surrounded with people that love us, that care about us, that understand what we're going through, and that we're opening up about this. Miscarriage has been just such a hush-hush thing, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's something that happens, and we lose a parent, or we lose a friend, or just any kind of loved one, and it's we reach out to people to help us. And it's the same thing with miscarriage. You have nothing to be ashamed about. You have nothing to be scared to talk about. Like, as women, we need to reach out to one another. We need to embrace one another. We need to be there for one another whenever one of us is going through these things. And so for you, as somebody that's going through this, if you're going through this, I would just really encourage you to really check into your emotions daily. How am I feeling? How was I feeling yesterday? Just kind of be really mindful of what you're going through day by day as you're experiencing this grief. Because if you find yourself saying, you know what, I don't ever have any days where I feel hope. I don't have any moments where I feel hope. If just hope is completely gone from your life and from your thoughts and from your spirit, and you're not seeing any movement forward in your grief, then it's time to reach out to somebody. Do not be afraid to reach out to somebody and say, I need help. I can't get through this. I'm having a hard time. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I love you too, Mona. And so just be mindful of where your emotions are, and even as you're going through the grief process, just really try to ask yourself some questions. How am I feeling today? Why am I feeling? Did anything trigger this? I know a lot of times, and for me personally, this happened. If I was having a bad day, and I opened up my Facebook and somebody was giving exciting news of a pregnancy, there were times that made me sad and scared. It was really weird. It was a mixture of emotions, and it was sad because it reminded me of what I lost, and that's natural, girls. There's nothing to be ashamed of with that. And scared because I had this fear that anybody that was pregnant was gonna end up going through what I went through, and that terrified me for them. And so I would just instantly start praying for them. And so just make sure that you're in check and in tune with what you're feeling and why you're feeling those things. Ask yourself those questions and just care about yourself enough to know where you are in the grieving process. And so again, I'm always here for any of you if you're experiencing this. If you need a friend to talk with, if you need somebody to pray with you, if you even just need prayer for you, you don't even have to tell me what's going on, or you have nothing you have to share with me. All you have to say is, I need prayer, and I will be so happy and honored to pray for you. And so just please take care of yourself if you're going through this. If you're somebody who is walking alongside somebody who has gone through grief, that is going through grief from a miscarriage, make sure that you are asking them these questions. Did something trigger this? How are you feeling today? How are you feeling this week? What would you say the majority of your feelings were, over the past, week or whatever? Just ask them questions. And if you have a friend or a loved one that it's constantly, they're sad and depressed and they're hurting and they have no good days, they have no times of hope, make sure that you reach out to them and that you help them, and that you let them know every day that you love them, because depression can lead to so many other things, and we don't want our loved ones to go that direction. We don't want them to come to a place where they absolutely feel no hope, because we all know what happens with depression, or what can happen with depression. It can have medical negative effects on your life. It can have negative effects spiritually. Some people can start being angry at God. Some people can start being just angry with themselves and angry in general. We don't want any of our friends and loved ones to walk around with bitterness. It can cause them to not have hope. And the scariest one, it can cause some people to have suicidal ideation, and we do not want that for our loved ones. We don't want them to ever come to a place where they feel unloved, where they feel like there's no hope in this life. We don't want that. And so if you are walking alongside somebody who has experienced a pregnancy loss, please check in on them. Please just make sure that they do have good days, that they are moving forward, that they can express hope, that they can express, I'm really sad, I'm really having a hard time, but I know that God is good, but I know that God is with me. Just make sure that they still have some kind of hope in their life. And if they don't, you be the hope. You be the one that shares hope, that shares joy, that shares the message of Jesus. And so just keep an eye out for one another, guys. That's really what this is about. That's really what all of life is about, is just watching out for one another and loving on one another. So again, I'm always here for y'all. Anybody that needs any has any questions, needs any encouragement, or help with anything. I hope you guys have a great day. Love y'all. Bye.